This is a friend of mine's brother. You know what I'm saying? I know of this person. That's kind of interesting is I know his name from the system. He did 29 years in the system. Just recently got out, man. Kenny Washington, man. He got an outstanding story about the things that he experienced in there, man, that needs to be brought to the attention to the society. And the brothers that are still locked up are still going through the same type of turmoil and torment behind the walls, man. How you doing, Kenny?
Hey man, I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm blessed, brother.
That's
So,
right.
so let us know a little bit about your history, just a little bit.
Well, like you started off by saying, I just got out last month on the 13th. After doing 29 years, I was sentenced up on the 3 strikes, a burglary, nobody home, nobody present. Man, they struck me out. I was one of the third. I was one of the third persons to catch 3 strikes in Santa Clara County. So they used my case as a guinea pig case. So going through the system, man, it was very hard because I came through back in the day when it was, still cracking, in the early '90s, and what I call all this time, 35 to life. Man, I'm gonna be honest, man, I never thought I was gonna get out, man. So I went in there just smashing and doing my thing. I used to run with 415, and had a pretty good position with them, until it started acting like gang members and stuff. I had to back up, but when we first started that, we was just a Bay Area thing, a bunch of brothers coming together, protecting each other, standing tall for each other because of stuff that we were seeing and that we was going through. So, after being up in there, I always been a level 4, man. And when Prop 57 kicked in, I started thinking like, man, they letting people out of prison now. I need to get myself together. So I started running groups, NAAA, CGA. I even started a group, Initiate Justice, and we did a few events up there in High Desert where we raised over $5,000. Everybody donated, and we gave all the money to the 3 Strike Coalition. Because if you guys don't know about it, they're trying to get it on the ballot for 2024. We're trying to abolish the whole 3 strike law because it's foul. And just like what I just went through right now, I left a lot of homeboys up in there that probably got lesser cases than me, and still up in there after 30, 40 years that I believe should be out. I got out up on 1170D, which is re-sentenced for good behavior. And they're starting to let people out up under that. If you got 5 years clean don't mean straight clean. Clean mean, no stabbings or anything like that, man. And because I used to be a fuck up, excuse me. I used to be a.
Oh, good. It's this raw channel.
Okay. Back in the day, I was a fuck up, man. I stayed cracking, stayed popping, doing the drug thing, all that. Then I started getting myself together, and it felt good, man, to be able to start doing positive stuff. I started giving back. I do legal work also. And so I help people who needed help and try to get them back in court.
Okay, so you were a former KUMI, right? You held a high-ranking position. The KUMI is like in the beginning, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, right? I interacted with a lot of KUMIs myself, man, and even us, we all used to be kind of a little bit revolutionary in our purpose against the system, to the left. You know what I mean? We should file the 602s and always get into it with man.
Right.
What was the initial stages? Was it branched off the Jamas or?
Yeah, I don't like dropping names, but yeah, one of OG Jama members went to one of the heads and asked him if he could start his own thing, and he told him yes, go ahead and start it. It probably ain't gonna work because they never thought it was gonna blow up the way it did. So he started his own thing, and it just blew up because it used to be a privilege to be 415. It was only a chosen few of us, and we was considered the vanguard of the Bay. If you mess with anybody out the Bay, then here we come, smash it, and that's how it all started. So a lot of people say that we are a branch off of Jama, and it's true, but a lot of people like to admit that, you know what I'm saying? But we had to come together because, the Crips and the Bloods were doing their thing, everybody else doing their thing, and the Bay Area didn't really have
true.
had nothing going.
Yeah.
So that's how it started.
So that's kind of difficult. It's kind of almost like people don't realize, man, like you guys aren't you know, the black groups in there, right? You guys aren't at each other's necessary necks all the time. You guys can
Right.
you guys can coexist, but
Yeah.
it's kind of hard like to have a unified front though when everybody has a different agenda, man. Because I used to
Yeah.
notice that when we used to try to have you know, push a certain agenda or you know, wartime or whatnot. We may have the KUMI cats that are backing us up, but then the LA Crips don't want to mess
Yeah.
with us, or the Sacramento Bloods.
Yeah.
How hard was that, man, being in the system and with all these different groups, like you had the, you know, the Woods and the Aryans and Skinheads, you know, the
Yes.
Southsiders. How hard was it to, like, you know, see that the people were not as united as they should be?
Well, it was very hard, but it's one thing I can say is that being on level 4, when something jumped off with the blacks, all the blacks came together. That's one thing that I respected about that. You know, is that it wasn't where you was from. It was level 4. It was, you know, it was the color of your skin.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it always feel like, you know, the blacks is being target because, you know, we had a strong car and a lot of people, you know, they group up, the whites, the Hispanics, you know, Southerners, whatever. They all come together just to try to get us. And I never understood that or why they hated us so much, you know. But you know, it's prison life, which yeah, which a lot of people don't understand is the system. The system maker back in there, you could flag red, blue over here, red over here, and when they was doing that, that's when you knew someone was finna jump because you see the red and blue come together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of these youngsters these days, they don't understand that a lot of people lost their life. You know, riding with the Northaniels and Serenos and the Aaron Brotherhood, skinheads. You know, it was cracking all the time. You know, like I was back in the day when it was us against them, us against the police, and it was cracking. You know what I'm saying? But they found a way to separate us and had us going at each other, had us
Yeah.
going at each other. You know, and which made it all bad.
So I agree with that, man, because I noticed when I first hit the system in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? I'd be on the yard, 6 yard San Quentin, which was known as a KUMI yard with NF and structure and all that. And we used to kick it tight, bro. We used to post up for each other, post
Yeah,
security. You know what I mean? When we'd march the yard, we'd march one black, one Hispanic right next to each other.
yeah,
And it was a unified front, man.
yeah.
But I noticed in 2000, it just started to separate a little bit.
So
You know
a
what I'm saying?
lot, a
A
lot.
lot. You know what I'm saying? What do you think contributed to that, man? I got my own theory, and I think it was the caliber of people that were sitting in prison. That's my personal feeling. You
That's
know, I had the
exactly.
convicts. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I'm riding with. I ride with you on that 100%. The kind of people that was coming to prison because they was bringing their hatred from stuff they had going on the street. You know what I'm saying? Then they come to prison because you know what they say. You're supposed to leave out on the street when you come to prison. It's a whole
Yeah.
different thing. But yeah, I remember when the Northaniel was our allies and we used to ride hard together. I was on C
Yeah.
Yard when all that stuff jumped off when they separated all the Northaniels and put them in the back walls in the yards back there. Then that got crazy because they start fucking with each other, which I didn't understand that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you know, it's like now it seems like the prison politics is it's just unfair, man. It just you know you might have a shot caller on one of the cars that got a smut on his jacket, but if he got the Cisnac, then you know he calling shots, and he might be the dirtiest dude on the yard, but just
Yeah.
because he got you know because drugs bring power and money bring power.
It was a different time era in the early 90s, man. Everybody, a lot more drug use back then amongst the actives.
Yeah,
The politics were a little bit more cutthroat a little bit, man, because they started locking
yeah.
everybody, slamming everybody down, man. You guys never got validated though, huh?
No, because brother Mousy who started all this, he got smart and he got it. I ain't gonna say copyrighted, but he went to Sacramento and got some paperwork that said that we were considered a disruptive group. It wasn't considered a gang. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So that helped out a lot. So they really couldn't validate us.
Okay, that's a smart move, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I miss those times, man, because I was talking to you before, man. I remember being like, you know, in corporate shoe and stuff, man, and like we'd be in the whole pod. There may be like two Don Moves, one Crip, maybe one KUMI, right? And then the
yeah,
whole rest of the pod would be either Southsiders and Aryans,
yeah,
and I'd be the only one in the pod, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I know if that door pops open, they're gonna try to peel my cap, man. But
yeah.
you know, we did what we had to do at times, man. You know,
Right.
it's just to me, man. the 2000s just started to change. Like I said, man, there was too many what you would call civilians. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And then what ended up
Yeah.
happening, people couldn't put their just everything got kind of severe. It was a trip, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the old school ways, there was a cause, there was a struggle, there was a purpose, there was about trying to, go against the system. What happened? That all went out the window like about 10, 15 years ago.
I'll say it again, please.
I said back in the days, there was a cause, there was a struggle, right? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It was about, changing the conditions of prison confinements, about not being oppressed by the administration, because and I've said this many times, the Northerners and blacks got abused more by the cops than any other particular group. Those are
Yes,
facts.
you're
You know what
exactly
I'm saying?
right.
And a lot of times, we got it because we associated with African brothers, man.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and so I remember that we'd get set up sometimes in situations to where they would put us out in the yard knowing that we're only like a couple deep with a bunch of
Yeah.
Southsiders in the woods, knowing that they're gonna fucking rush us, man. They used to do a lot
Yeah.
of dirty tactics,
Yeah.
man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I was in you brought up Cork and Shoe a minute ago. Yeah, I was in there at 89 when it was cracking, like you said. It might be just two blacks in the whole unit. You know how I used to run yard. They say turn your light on. And one northerner turn his light on, one southerner turn their light on. They go out there and get shot all up, and then they resume program, then everybody else go out. You know,
Yeah.
like I was there when they killed the brother, the Crook brother back then. Yeah, when they killed him, staging on fights. That was a real thing. A lot of people don't think that was true, but they were staging fights and betting on it, and that
How
really
bad?
happened.
How
And that
bad was
really
that?
happened.
How bad? How bad was that?
Oh, that was bad, man. That was bad. Every day, every day, every day. They be up at the top watching it like cockfights, you know what I'm saying? They go out there and fight, they bet on them until, when a boy got killed, it exposed a lot of stuff that was going on.
What was your guys' stats? Were you guys going out there getting off too, or?
Yeah, yeah, we had to, because you know how the Southerners is. They looked at us as being like a Northerner, so we had to get on them before they got on us. So, yeah, we had to handle our business too.
So how were they staging that? Were they sending you guys out like two and then two, or were they sending out like 8 and then like two
No,
out there?
no, and like you just said a minute ago, how it seemed like we always got the short end of the deals is that they'll start at sell 1-on-1, and if it's all Southerners on that end down there, by the time they get to a black sale, then you go out there, it's already like 6 to 8 out there, so it's cracking. So you got to get off shoes hit the yard, you got to get off.
Yeah. We got a lot of people here that are trying to deter people from the prison lifestyle, man. So I always ask people what's some of the craziest things that they experienced in prison. Like, what's the craziest things that you've experienced?
Man, it was on experience or scene.
Experience and scene. You can touch based on both of them, bro. Because I know there's a whole bunch of shit. Over 29 years, you
Yeah,
got some stories.
yeah. I start off with what I experienced, what I seen. It was on Halloween. This guy had just got off single cell status for killing a cellie. They gave him a cellie, took him off single cell, gave him a cellie. The guy went in there with him, and he killed him within an hour of being in there. And they
Wow.
brought the body out and had it on the tier for like 5 hours until the coroner came. And that was some of the powder. He bashed his head in with a weight bag. So his head was all punched in like a pumpkin.
What year was this?
It was in Mill Creek. Had to be like about 2002, 2003.
Okay.
Yeah, 2002, 2003. And then stuff I experienced, man, is just that, the stuff that we used to do back then, man, when it came to the drug game, man, going to the visiting room and handling your business, man, and being the man on the yard. And, I look back on that now, that was some of the stupidest stuff, because I was involved in that back then. I got my people in trouble and everything. And, I look back on that now, that was some of the craziest stuff, man, But, money was power, and you had the sack, you was the man. Everybody flocked to you, and, it felt good there. We used to call it put our big hat on. Monday morning, you got your big hat on. Everybody talking to you, want to be your friend. Yeah, man. So stuff like that was like, it was just way out. It was just way out, man.
Were you involved in a lot of riots?
Oh yeah, I was involved in the riot in New folks from B Yard in '96 when the blacks and the Serenos got into it, and
Oh,
they shot the kid.
that was a
That
big
was a
one.
that was a big one. They wouldn't stop for like 15 minutes. It went on. You know, that's a long time for a riot. And the captain had to get on the bullhorn and tell all officers to get off the yard. They shot the whole yard up.
What
They
was
just
that?
shot the whole yard up.
What was that over?
Man, a bad drug deal went bad, and a Crip ended up slapping a Sereno and didn't tell nobody that night. And that morning, you know how they is. When they come out that morning, it's gone. It went down at 4 different parts of the yard at the same time.
You know, that's a common trend, man. That I've noticed is that every time there's a riot, I tell people this is you understand the prison politics that you're never supposed to put hands on another group segment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you do, that's grounds for war.
Yes.
It's supposed to be the diplomatic relationships. It's like, okay, you touch them, and if they don't like how you guys are dealing with your own people, then it's wartime.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And it's always over a debt or always over, people not liking how you deal with your own people. You know what I'm saying? I know that's happened. I've gotten in riots because we had issues with this group. Okay, well, this dude did this. Deal with it.
Yeah.
If they don't want to deal with it, then it's going to kick off. I mean, that's what it always comes down to. Is usually a drug debt or someone taking action, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know about that it kicked off. That was over that. That was like October, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a big one, bro.
And then right after that, that big one happened in Pelican Bay. They followed suit in Pelican Bay.
Okay. Oh, so Pelican Bay. That was the one where the Sureños rushed them to.
Yep. When it was on the dip bars.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that trips me out. How it used to be back then. The blacks always waited till they take off on us first before we react, and I never liked it that. You know it's gonna go down, but you stand there and wait, and then here they come. You know what I'm saying? And I used to hate that, man.
I mean, we already know who got the best hands in the prison system out of the group, bro.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But the Mexicans are coming with them knives, so.
Exactly. They're coming with some big ones too.
So,
The bone crushers.
That's
the
real. That's real talk, man. The brothers will chunk them, but the Mexicans are coming with pieces. That's the truth of it, man. I keep it 100 on that, man. But did you see that dude, Big U, that Crip?
No.
Whatever. Talk about he knocked out. He says he knocked out 32 Sureños in that riot that happened in the Bay. Man. I don't believe that shit.
Me neither.
We would have heard about. I mean, I'm not trying to take any shots at him or nothing like that. You know what I mean? But I know the game. If that would have happened, bro, we would have heard it through the grapevine.
That's right.
We would have definitely heard it, man. Not 20 something, not 30 years later. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's right. Man, you're taking me back to a lot of things back in those days, man.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more. We'll talk a little bit more about prison, but then I want to talk about what you're trying to do now in a little bit. Back then you had the Woods, the skinheads, of course, right?
Yeah.
I remember the whites in the 90s, they were basically they weren't skinheads back then. They had the long hair, the mullets and stuff, and you know what I mean? They were a whole different breed, and then out of nowhere, everything changed.
Yeah, they got deep.
They were more structured now, man.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. What was the other one? The Nazi lowriders?
Nazi lowriders, yeah. I never got along with them. Yeah. I never really personally got along with them cats. You had the Nazi lowriders. The Bulldogs. Were you there when the Bulldog stuff started?
Yes. I was on B Yard when they start removing them. Yep. Them dudes just some way out dudes. They were just, remember before they was Norteños, then they was doing their own thing, then they ride with the Serenos, and you can't do that. It's gonna fall back on you sooner or later.
So did you have any part were you a supporter of the end to all hostilities, or were you not active no more?
Say it again?
The end to all hostilities, when they all got up too.
Yeah. I was a part of that. I was trying to calm stuff down too, man, because come to a point where you start getting up on your own people and start removing your own people and stuff. And I was told a long time ago, you never put your hands on one of your loved ones unless he run out on your time of war or if he stitch on you. You know what I'm saying? So when they used to do them 201 removals, I never was with that. I was against that to the utmost.
Oh, 201 removals, yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys had your own little law procedure too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it court or was it like charges? I mean, how did that work?
We just I don't want to go like too deep into it, like out of respect for the ones that still pushing it down there.
Most
But
definitely.
we had our rules and regulations, and if you broke one of them rules, it depends on how serious it was, and they'll bring it to you. Corporal punishment. I mean, you got to go. You know what I'm saying? Or if you just pay a fine, or you just got whooped on. You know what I'm saying? I call it body checking. I know it's with the body checking because if you put your hands on me, I'm swinging back. I ain't gonna stand there and let you. So that was a big problem. That was a big problem too.
Okay. So let's
Yeah,
let's
but
talk let's talk more about now what you're trying to do today, bro. About what you were doing before you got out, man. You wrote a book. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Co-authored a book. You were part of a couple groups. You want to
yeah.
get back. I'm gonna get. This is your platform to speak right now.
All right. Like I said, I also do legal work. So I really like helping people, man, especially the ones I see that's been done wrong. So I had started the group Initiate Justice, to where we learn about the bills and laws and how they get passed and how they go through the system. So the stuff that I was doing before I got out, man, was the same thing I want to do now. Man, I want to work with the youngsters. I want to go up in these juvenile halls and these county jails and share the real light on how prison really is. You know what I'm saying? These youngsters think that when they go to prison, that it's all good. It's not all good. You got to ride with somebody. All that about you don't gang bang, or you gonna gang bang now, because there's no such thing as non-affiliated. Either you're red or you're blue or you're black. You know what I'm saying? So I want to start. I want to talk to a lot of these dudes, man, these youngsters, and try to get through them and let them know ain't nothing cool about prison. When you leave, your girl gonna be messing with your homeboy. Only person gonna be there is your mother. If you got a cool sister, she'll be there for you. And then your homeboys ain't finna be there for you. They ain't gonna send you nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing that I want to do out here in the South Bay, because they ain't got too many nonprofits out here. I want to start, especially right now with the voting going on, because now ex-cons can vote. So I want to get the word out to them to get out and vote for these bills that's coming up in November. You know what I'm saying? I want to reach back into the prisons and help some guys do some writs and some motion, because they letting people out right now. If
Mhm.
you're programming and you're doing some college and you're doing some groups and all that, are they letting you out? I went to this how foul the board is. I don't know if you're up on Keith Wadley. Keith Wadley is trying to dismantle the board right now, and I'm a prime example of how they do you. I went to the board in August of last year. They denied me 3 years. Well, when I got resentenced, the judge said I should have been out years ago, because I'm a perfect candidate of somebody who changed their life around and was doing the rehabilitation. So that right there is something that I want to do, because a lot of people qualify for that law right now and they don't even know it. So I want to get the word out to them and tell them, man, get at me, man, and I'll research your stuff and go in for you and see what it takes you for that. The 3-strike law. I want to be a poster child for that. I want to dismantle that. I really believe that they're gonna get rid of it. I really believe that, but I want to make sure that they do. I want to go around and tell my story of how they did behind me in there. All those videos. I lost my mother in 2019. One of the hardest things I went through in my life. I'm
Yeah.
still going through it, because now I'm out. And she's not here to see. So a lot of stuff I'm gonna do is for her, to show her that like, even though I went down the road for a while, I still respect her. I still love her. And I still know that she taught me better than what I was giving her.
Yeah. Most
You know
definitely.
what I'm saying? So the stuff I want to do out here, man, is get people together to start voting, man, to vote and to and learn about these bills and stuff, because everybody got somebody in prison, everybody got somebody in jail, and you never know, you might get a drunken drive, you end up in there. So these foul laws, we need to change these foul laws, these 3 strikes. They changed the 1437, the felony murder rule, which is a good law, to where it says if you wasn't the one who did the shooting, if you were just there, they kicking you out. That's a good law.
Yeah.
They got the 1 year prison part now. Huh?
That is a good law.
So
I've
they got
met
the
people
one
who
year
got out
prison.
on that. I've been pushing one law that I've been saying that there's one thing that we need to have, right? And because of all the police abuse and so forth that's been going on, right? People are losing their lives and
Yeah,
whatnot. I just did a story recently about a 60-year-old girl, man, that they ruffled up. I think now with law enforcement, what they need to do, right, is they need to start holding people accountable that even if they're not involved in the
Yes.
incident, but if they witness it, they got to be held just as much accountable. Because back in the days, if I'm with you and you catch a hot one, I'm going down for life with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And these officers, man, if they start holding other officers accountable, they're not, and I know, bro. Majority of the cops really ain't that bad. It's that small percentage, but that small percentage does a lot of fucking damage, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when
That's
these other
right.
cops turn that cheek to what they witness, it fucks up all the kind of trust. Like I never faulted any police or anything for me being where I was. I did what I did. You know what I'm saying? But it's the abuses and stuff and the oppression that they used to kind of torment and inflict upon us that I have issues with. And so I think that there needs to be a law where, okay, even if you're not involved and you're there and you don't do nothing to stop it, you need to be held just as much accountable. Because if that starts happening, if you start getting threatened with losing your job, your pension, and whatnot, there's going to be a lot more officers that are going to not want to take action. They're going to step in.
That's true. Just like the George Floyd thing, the two officers that was just standing there watching.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? Come on. Not even just an officer, just a human being in general. If you see something like that going down, you're going to say something and you're going to try to do something. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you something else that I really believe that need to change. And like with the 3-strike law, when the guy did the thing with poly class and all that, I was affected by that. I didn't know this dude, man. You know what I'm saying? And just because of what he did to the little girl, now I'm being judged along with him because I had a fucked up past. You know what I'm saying? And I did all that time because of what somebody else did to start that law.
Remember 2004 when the 3-strike law was being put up?
Yeah.
And they were doing the recall right. And okay, this is why I have no respect for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, he said he wasn't going to cave into the union, which is the most powerful union and was at its heyday at that time, right? He went on fucking air and he said that don't support amending the 3-strike law. This will release thousands of murderers and rapists and whatnot. Bro, back then if you did a murder, you're doing life. You're not getting out. That has nothing to do with the 3-strike law. Number two, if you're a fucking a chomo or whatever, we're gonna chop you up ourselves. You should be fucking doing life off the top. Don't fucking let regular people, regular criminals be associated with that. So when Schwarzenegger did that, I lost all respect because that law had momentum. It was gonna pass. But because
I really believe they did some slick that night too, because when we went to bed that night, it was passing.
Yeah.
Then that morning you got up, it fell. Like what the heck? So I think they did some push the button at the last minute stuff.
Man, Schwarzenegger lost all my respect for that because everything he said in that we know. You catch a murder back then, you're doing life. Even the parole board is not gonna let you out. You know what I'm saying? Rapists and chomos, man, this is affecting a 99.9% of a whole different type of prison population. People in there for candy bars, drug possessions, all kinds of stupid shit. What was your controlling case?
A burglary, non-violent burglary. Really, I'm gonna be honest, man. It was a burglary on my own apartment. I was staying at the apartment that got burglarized, but I had a crime that really did everything, but they didn't want her. They wanted me because, like I said, I had a past history. She didn't, and it stuck, man. A burglary, nobody hurt, nobody injured, nobody home. Come on, man. That's more time than, like you said, a murderer do. You know what I'm saying? And, it was foul, man, to be in prison all that time. And so what they telling you, you might as well kill somebody. You're gonna get the same amount of time.
Yeah. So talk about these other laws that people should be aware of.
Well, they got one. I ain't got my paper in front of me, but they got a bill right now. It's called AB 43, dealing with your 1-year prison prior, which they used to always give it to us. Well, that's over with. You can file a motion back to the court right now. That would take your 1-year prior off. Then it'll open your case up. So if you got a gun enhancement or fire enhancement, you can add that on there too, and they might take that off. But because the stuff that you're doing now is all about programming. All the little petty 115s and all that, you got to stay away from them. You got to just program, go to these groups and really show change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't have my paper in front of me about the new bills, but if we do it again, I for sure have my paper in front of me and talk about the bills that are going to be on the ballot in November.
So you really want to give back, right? So You're trying to get associated with some other groups out there and whatnot, man. Anybody out there in the South Bay area that's affiliated with any groups that are that have this same type of push, that are behind the coalition to try to help inmates, you know what I mean? Tap in with me, man. I'll tap in, man. You're gonna do a little YouTube thing as well, like me and you were talking. I said, man, there's no African brothers in the Bay Area that have a YouTube channel. It's about time. You know what I'm saying? It's about time that maybe I get that you don't want to divulge some of the politics and stuff, right? But I think it's important that people come on and at least explain some of the Black history behind the walls, because there's no voice right now. You know what I mean? There doesn't have to be details as far as you know what I mean, that's going to incriminate anybody or expose these groups. But the truth of the reality of what was going on, those stories have to be told, man, because there's no one. I mean, I get asked questions all the time about the BG, about the Jamas and Kumis, and that's all public knowledge. I have a lot of experience in relationships with them, but I don't know the intricate details about their struggle, always about what was really going on with police. And we all know about Black August, and you know what I'm saying, that the Soledad brothers and all that stuff. Those are all historical.
This week.
I mean, those are all historical moments that I think that an African brother needs to put out there, as opposed to someone that's a Northerner or Southerner or whatnot, because that you guys can speak on it in a whole different frame of mind that we can't. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot about it, bro. Like me and you were talking. I started talking to you in Swahili earlier. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And just to say this, that you brought that up, is that's what 415 KUMI was about, is that we had studies. We studied in ourselves, and we studied Black history. You know what I'm saying? Because that's another thing that a lot of these youngsters don't understand. You gotta know where you came from to know where you're going, right? And when you understand that your people went through a lot of struggle to get, even in prison, we went through a lot to get the areas that we got in. People got stabbed up for areas and all that. When people understand the history of what our forefathers went through, I think they'll be more, respectful to the way they talk, like the N-word. Let's speak on the N-word for a minute. Okay. And that kills me because I'm old school, man, and we got the Hispanics, we got the whites. They use the N-word like they brothers. And back in the day, that'll start a riot. But now they think it's cool because they hear the rap music. The rappers use it all the time. But that word right there kills me, man. But you can't go around and policing the N-word, because you ain't gonna never get out of prison.
I remember even if you were African American or Africano, the term we used to use, they wouldn't even use it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? They wouldn't even use it. It would be disrespectful within their group.
Yeah, you'd be disciplined. Yeah, you'd be disciplined. Push-ups or burpees, whatever.
Only time that word would come out was right before a fight.
Exactly, and that's when you know it was going down.
You knew it was going down. I'm not lying about that, man. That word would not be put out there except for someone's going to get off, man. Because then the anger's coming out, man. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool, man. That I got a few other people I'm gonna try to tap you in with that could help help you with that push as well, man. But I think these stories need to be told. I think these stories, you know what I'm saying? From a Black perspective, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, it's like, Norteños, there's a lot of Black brothers that know about Norteños, but only a Norteño could really tell that story.
That's right.
And there's no one really pushing it out there, man. I got a homeboy out there in Chicago, PNG News Media. Shouts out to my boy Mike. I'm gonna hook you up with him. He knows a lot about the history. He actually published that one book. Man, it was just came out. Chronicles of Somebody. It was by a BGF cat.
Yeah.
I forgot. I did a video on it. I'll shoot it to you later on, man. But I think it's kind of a great thing, man, because not only is it needed, I feel, but it's coming from someone that's your brother's my homeboy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I know. Yep.
And we go way back for years, man. So it's an awesome thing, man. So I'm gonna help set you up, bro. Get it going, man, and I'm gonna give you some connections on some stuff, man. Is there anything else you want to say before we end this interview?
I just want to say, man, for all you Black and brown brothers out there, even you white brothers out there, if you got somebody in prison, man, that's trying to get out, trying to do the right thing, do some footwork for them. Look into some of these laws and bills and try to help them get up out there and keep, do what you can for them up in there, because it's hard up in there. You know what I'm saying? They're making it easier for them now. They're giving tablets to all inmates now. By the end of the year, they put that tablets. So now you can have phones in your cell. You can have texts and all that. So I think that's going to stop the violence a little bit on the main line and stuff. But It's just that people got to start coming together, man. All this separation stuff, you got to let that go, man. You got to let that go. It's us
There has
against
been
them.
improvement. There's been
It's us
improvements.
against them.
There's been improvements I noticed on that, man. I think I think there's a little bit less racism as opposed to years before.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
right.
There's a little bit more open dialogue. Everybody's pushing the, an equal agenda and so
Yeah,
forth.
you're right.
You know.
You're right.
Anyways, I know you got a busy day, man. I'm happy that you're out, brother, man. You got my number. We're gonna touch base, man, and I'm gonna try to help you. I'm gonna try to help you get this YouTube channel going, man. And I got a couple people I'm gonna reach out to on your behalf.
Okay, I appreciate you, man.
Gonna push a similar plight and can help you get going, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate.
Definitely.
You have a good one.